What is up, DTube Steem blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about comparing Steem blockchain to Avalon blockchain. So Avalon blockchain, which is the name of the new blockchain that DTube chain will use. And of course Steem blockchain that came out 2016. And the reason why I want to do these videos is because I enjoy making archives of stuff that I consider, and also if you said this space, this crypto space is always going to have people coming in, so it's always going to have people that are searching for information. So maybe a person finds this video a year from now, and I want the video to then be helpful. So it's kind of cool. So yeah, today I want to talk a little bit about comparing Steem blockchain to Avalon blockchain, and a lot of this is from the DTube 0.9 white paper. So let's begin. And I also want to say the 3 key features which I think can, or that makes Avalon blockchain very, very interesting. So let's start off here. Okay, so first, we can already say that it's a long learning curve on the Steem blockchain, and we can see that the main leaders are not really there anymore. It's mainly now in the hands of stakeholders, so doesn't seem to have any clear future direction. So let's compare it a little bit here. So first, of course, with Steem blockchain, you have 3 currencies: Steem dollar, Steem, and Steem power. And Steem power is Steem powered up. On Avalon blockchain, you just have one token. So it's pretty clear there. For example, on Steem blockchain, the Steem dollar, that is the one that is around $1 in value most of the time, but sometimes it goes a little bit lower, maybe like 10% lower, and sometimes it goes up, but in my experience it usually stayed around $1. But it's interesting on Avalon blockchain that you just use one token. So for example, if you want to explain the token system for a new person in life, it's going to be quite easy, because you're just going to say, okay, you have a token. It's not going to be, okay, first you have, for example, I remember when I tried to explain Steem, and if you try to explain it to some person, so it's like, okay, the first thing that's kind of confusing with Steem, that is still kind of confusing, is Steem is still using the dollar symbol. They're using the dollar symbol, but it's not really a dollar, that, and then it shows an amount, ones and zeros, but it's not dollar, US dollars, or Canadian dollars, but it's using the symbol. And the funny part is, it's not even Steem dollar. It is a mix of Steem dollar and Steem power, actually. So not even liquid Steem, but sometimes you do get liquid Steem. So, and that sort of system is there's a whole science behind it, and it's quite, it sounds kind of complicated. It's pretty hard to explain. Like, oh, that's not $1. No, you haven't earned $1. You have earned Steem dollar. No, yeah, sometimes, yeah, you do get Steem dollar, and you do get Steem power, but not all of that is yours, because a lot of it is going to go to other people, and you just maybe going to get 30% after hard fork 21. Or yeah, I mean, it is it's kind of weird. But a single token, Avalon blockchain, that's easy to understand, and it's easy to explain as well. The next point here comes to the one of the key features with Avalon blockchain, and that is the archive earning feature. So on the Steem blockchain, 7 days pay window, and that's it. You do not get paid after 7 days on a piece of content, which means it incentivizes people to just upload something quick. Do not put in too much effort into it, because after 7 days, whatever, you cannot get paid more. But infinite monetization of content through time, which you're saying in the white paper on Avalon blockchain, that is so interesting, and I like to call it archive earnings. This is something that I have on my YouTube channel. I earn microtransaction on thousands of videos because people still going to those videos. They see it in related search bar or related section of other videos, and if they can reward that, like on YouTube, you get rewarded in microtransactions. So with their AdSense program, and I mean, archive earnings is such a huge thing. It's such a huge thing. It's pretty. It's pretty amazing, actually. I mean, that is one of the key things that is huge. It is really huge because people think that most content earnings, yes, you do have some people that just have earnings that comes from their subscribers, but I would say a lot of people are just earning from random people that comes in and maybe rewards something. So the infinite monetization is going to incentivize people to put more effort into their work because it can be monetized forever. Okay, internet may disappear, then it's kind of hard to monetize, but the archive earnings feature is one of the key things, of the top three things I think with the Avalon blockchain that can really push it forward. Archive earnings, huge. So, and then we have another thing here. So Steem blockchain voting power, you only have it can only go up. It will cap after 5 days. If you vote a lot, the voting power it's not gonna go up forever. But on the Avalon blockchain, there's not gonna be a cap to voting power. This means if you go away for a month, it's just gonna keep stacking up, and that is something that is very, very original, I would say, because I haven't really seen it on other places. Okay, it's kind of early, but it seems very interesting in terms of game theory, because because in a way it can create this, I would say it can create this effect that a person feels rich without having to spend, and that can create a positive feedback loop because people love seeing numbers going up. People love the idea of numbers going up and the idea of infinite power. Of course, I it's gonna be it's still going to be relative to other users, and it's still going to be supply and demand. So it's not like you can go buy a new sports car every week, because I mean, if a person thinks about it, oh, I'm just gonna buy 1 billion of these, and then I'm not gonna do any work anymore any time. I'm just gonna sit back for 50 years, and then I'm gonna check my voting power, and I am gonna be living on Mars. I mean, clearly it's not gonna be like that, because still you're gonna have a market, supply and demand, but the game theory aspect of it is very, very interesting. So, and then we also have this other thing here coming, that on Steem, you can this is also very confusing to explain to someone, the voting power aspect. So if a person votes 100% on Steem blockchain, that is only consuming 2% of your voting power, because you can actually use 10 100% votes in a day, and then it recharges 20% each day. So, but that is really, really, it can be a really big challenge to explain. How it's going to work, or how it's working right now on the testnet on the DTube chain, is 100% vote of your voting power. It's literally 100%. So you can spend all in one vote. So is so a person knows, okay, if I vote on this 25%, 25% of my voting power is going to go away. It's not going to be that that then it would it be a half a percent? Yeah. If you would vote 25%, I think, on Steem, it would only go down a half a percent. So I think this simplification is gonna, yeah, it's gonna make it easier to explain. Then we have, this is also another thing that hasn't really been tested, but I think this is gonna be a very interesting experiment, and that the inflation of the system is on the Avalon blockchain is going to be dynamic inflation. So on the Steem blockchain, they have already set an inflation. This is the inflation rate that's going to happen, and if they want to tweak that, I think they have to hard fork or something. While on on the Avalon blockchain, it's going to depend on activity from users. So it's going to be a dynamic inflation, which I find very, very interesting, because the way I look at it from on the Steem blockchain side is, it seems as people think there are more users than there actually are. So if I look at I if I look at the stats, it only seems that Steam has a few thousand users daily tops, while other people seem to think we have 60,000 daily users, which I don't really see if you look at stats. And this is kind of like the same with Bitcoin and all of these blockchains, that people think it's super widely used at many places, but if you go to Blocktivity and look, you see that it's not really being used that much. Most of the stuff is there's a lot of hype. So the interesting thing with dynamic inflation that you're going to have on Avalon blockchain is, if the active user base doesn't grow, if the amount of users do not grow, then inflation will not grow mega quick. So I think what this is trying to do is, so you do not get weird bubbles. So, for example, let's look at the real estate bubble, where something, it can be allowed to be a bubble, while there's not really that many users of something. Or Bitcoin, for example, that there's not that many using it daily, or Ethereum, there's not that many using it daily, but it has this massive value, which if Bitcoin, for example, would work, that the value of it would increase when more users used it. I mean, in a way, yes, that is happening, but in a way, the price is moving quicker than it would probably be better if it was a little bit more attached to the amount of users, so you can have some stable measure rate or something like that. So it's very interesting to experiment with the dynamic inflation rate, which means that when a person clicks and uses their voting power on Avalon blockchain, the value of it is going to be tweaked a lot depending on the amount of users. And let's go on here. Now we come to the next interesting point, the next key feature. So the first key feature I thought with Avalon blockchain compared to Steem blockchain was the archive earnings. I think that's huge. That's huge because it's so easy for a lot of people to miss that one, because most people are not creating content daily in terms of as a living. But the second key feature here is on Steem blockchain. It takes basically weeks if you want to get a free Steem account, and you might not even get it, or you have to pay for it. How it's going to work on the Avalon blockchain is instant account creation. And how that's going to work is that it's going to use the public key as as the username. And if you want, so anyone can get in for free. They're not going to have a username. They're going to have, as I understood it, the public key then as their name. But if they want a username, they can basically burn tokens and they can get a custom username. And right now in the DTube chain testnet, how it is working is it's open right now for 1 month for Steem users to test it out and basically claim a username. So this is huge, of course, and that's why I added it to my second key feature with the Avalon blockchain. Archive earnings and instant account creation. It's so huge. We You can't have a system where it takes weeks to get an account. It's very strange. And the last key feature, I think, with the Avalon blockchain, which I think can really push it forward, is content weight. It's video, and it is audio. It is visual things. And you can even add text in a video, yes. But it is content weight. If we look at the blogs, there's a lot of services that is trying to bring out. Many services are trying to be the next, or they're trying to be, let's say, Facebook of crypto. And Facebook, the funny part about Facebook is they are basically stealing a lot of YouTube videos and advertising on top of it. So Facebook has never really been that sharp in video. They're more taking a weird way where they're sort of stealing stuff from the real creators and then doing their own weird monetization on top of it. So Facebook, so most of the projects that are trying to do social media in in the blockchain space, they're not really focusing on video. And if they are focusing on video, they haven't really beta tested a product for a year or so. And I tried to look for any other serious YouTube competitor than DTube, but I cannot really find it. I can find some that are trying to do some live streaming niche, but I cannot see one that is mainly doing a video sort of niche and being a true blockchain YouTube competitor. So content weight, what it basically is that, I mean, video is so much value. Video is so much value. Audio is so much value. And yes, we have seen some players in the blockchain space try to do some kind of audio thing, but they sort of have a slow growth, and they most of them are not really they're not really seeing how they can combine both audio and video. But on YouTube with the Avalon blockchain, I mean, it's kind of they're sort of looking at it from both sides, I think. So yeah, content weight, that it has more meat to it. That it can impact much more. So these three key features: archive earnings, instant account, and content weight, this I would say is huge. This is huge, and that is why it's going to be really cool to see how this is going to develop forward. I think in many ways I sort of get 2009 feelings here when I first my YouTube account now that has 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers. I started it late 2009, and that's around 10 years. 10 years ago, I started that. And it is kind of going full circle here that what humans are doing is they're finding some technology, and it takes around 10 years to see how something goes, and then we sort of innovate with making some new product where we have this now 10 years sort of okay, YouTube is a little bit older, but it started to really go more mainstream around 2009. So this 10-year window, people have sort of seen how video works on the internet, and basically what you can do then is you can make a YouTube, let's say, yeah, YouTube, what I mean with YouTube is basically video on the internet, but you can do video on the internet. So looking at these 10 years where it's mainly been video on the internet, has mainly been on YouTube, and you can see what they did right, and and take that and basically innovate on that, and you can also see what they're doing wrong. So what what is YouTube doing wrong? Well, they have very bad governance system, and Avalon blockchain is basically going to have community leaders. You need some form of governance system that is run by the community, and that's something that there's been a lot of buzzwords around that. But you really need leaders. You really need leaders that are staked, that are invested in terms of that they're making stuff. So, for example, who should basically run YouTube is the community, but that is not how it has been. So other aspects, for example, it's not totally YouTube's fault. It's basically doing the best it can with the current technology, but during these 10 years better technology is coming out that provides easier ways to monetize, that provides better systems for governance, that provides better systems to run decentralized systems with IPFS, for example. Could this has been done? Could this can you do Could you have done exactly a DTube in 2009? You couldn't, because the technology wasn't really there. So it's also a lot about timing, and this time period is really interesting. The timing with a lot of stuff going on the planet, and new tech. I mean, it's quite interesting. And then we have another point here. Okay, so let's go on a little bit. So one of the thing with Steem blockchain is when you're staking, it takes 13 weeks to unstake. So you're basically locked up with a lot of value, and in a way, that sort of reminds me about dApps that doesn't want to create their own token but want to use some famous token. In a way, it sort of is a system that only is needed if people do not believe in that they have a valuable ecosystem. Then you usually do a system where, yeah, you have to lock up this a lot of time, and that is something that's quite hard also to explain to a person, because in a way it can kind of sound weird. It would be like your bank said, well, you cannot cash out everything immediately, you need 13 weeks. It is a little bit strange. How it's going to work on Avalon blockchain is there basically is no staking. It's just voting power that goes up. If you have liquid, if you have the liquid token, then your voting power basically goes up. So that's interesting. That's interesting how you can simplify systems. And that's also one thing. Maybe maybe the tech wasn't here to do an Avalon blockchain 2016. So tech is basically moving forward all the time, and people figuring out new stuff along the way. So another point here is on Steem blockchain, it takes 7 days to get rewards, while how it happens on Avalon blockchain is basically instant rewards. That would say if you are uploading a video and someone is rewarding it right now, then you can basically, or eventually, you will be able to cash that out right now. And that is also really, really interesting. That was something that I was thinking about early 2018, that a beggar would be able to be on the street, and someone clicks a button, or maybe let's say a beggar makes a video about something, I don't know, whatever, and then he gets a reward, and then he instantly can cash out that reward and go buy some food. That was just a funny thing that I was considering 2018 a little bit as a fun, like, oh my god, he will be able to, a beggar would be able to get the reward instantly and cash it out instantly, and then basically have some liquid value. And now we're starting to see that turn into a reality around 1.5 years later. That is quite interesting. And yeah, I mean that's most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. First, the comparison, the Steem blockchain, comparing it to the Avalon blockchain, and the main key features: instant account, archive earnings, and content weight. That something that has an internal system that generates a lot of value, and not just buzzword value, but a lot of value. Oh my god, that is so cool. Yeah, it is. It's interesting. I like how there is so much focus on liquidity. There is so much focus on liquidity. And the point with liquidity, you can make stuff liquid on the Steem blockchain. For example, I can send value super quick, but the main reward system is not really designed for instant liquidity in terms of, you can send Steem dollar, and you can send Steem liquid to a person, but it gets really more interesting when the reward system itself, with the curation, when that is liquid. It sounds like it's a small thing, but I think it's actually going to be huge, because people like liquid stuff, and people like, if you give a person a token, if you give them usability this second, that the moment you give someone a token, it works. If that person, let's say you give a person 1,000 DTube coins, and then they have some voting power, and then if they go and reward someone, that person gets that reward instantly, and then they can go and spend it or whatever. I mean, clearly this is more efficient. This is more efficient, and that is the very interesting aspect of this. So it's going to be very interesting to see this play out, and I enjoy how they are having a phase right now of 1 to 2 months where they are looking at just beta testing it, because of course there are gonna be stuff that comes up along the way which probably will need to be tweaked, because you do not know how a system sound good in theory, but how it works in reality. You need a phase where you're beta testing something, and even when the mainnet comes out with Avalon blockchain and it's out, there probably is going to be stuff, even more and more and more stuff that comes up, and it's going to be interesting to see how that will play out. And I like both of these systems. I still love the Steem blockchain, and I still or and I love the Avalon blockchain. I just feel that one big major mistake the Steem blockchain did was to focus very little on video. So out of 300 million Steem, only around 2 million Steem, or sometimes 4 million Steem, has been used to actively trying to support video. And we can see how video is going to grow in the future. It's just going to grow more and more and more and more. So a big mistake Steem did was never to invest fully in video. So it's cool to see stuff happening right now. It's very cool, and yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to talk about in a video. And one very interesting aspect here, I think we're gonna see with the liquid token, because the problem with the Steem blockchain, the problem with the Steem blockchain is the way people are using it is they're just doing one piece of content, because they sort of know that for scalability right now with the trending and all of that, it's not really as you want to post too much on your Steem page, because the user interface and all that, it would clutter someone's interface. So but what can happen when you make a video chain, a truly video chain, is people can use them with the archive earnings. It may make it so people do 20 pieces of content daily or something like that, which gets very interesting, because that means that it doesn't have to be this way where a person does one daily photo or just one daily video. If a person want to do if a person is a great content creator, they probably should do 20 videos or something like that. And that system works great when you have a liquid token, especially when you have a liquid token with instant rewards, because then it works to smaller amounts. So maybe some pieces of content is going to have maybe 5 tokens or whatever. But yeah, you need a liquid token to make stuff happen on scale. And it's kind of interesting with this industry, because in many ways people sort of look at the billion tokens, they look at that as a lot, or 300 million tokens that Steem has around, they look at that as as a lot. But if you really want to, if you really want scale, then you need to probably have around 100 billion tokens or something like that. If you want something that can scale to millions, yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. A lot of this stuff is just mind blowing in many ways. It really is mind blowing because the scale of all of this stuff, I don't really think people understand it. The same as I saw with YouTube 2009. I saw that. I saw how that would be huge, and that's why I invested a lot of time and energy into YouTube. But most people know they did not really understand it. So, and from 2009, when I did videos, it took around 2 years or 2 to 3 years to see it really starting to take off, the snowball effect. And I think we're gonna see the same thing here. It's gonna take 2 to 3 years to really start to see the snowball effect starting to happen. And people are truly going to start to see the importance of truly liquid utility tokens, not just buzzword utility tokens. A lot of stuff is going to fail to scale if they cannot bring a community together and truly use something. So yeah, very, very interesting times. There is so much to cover in this industry. This is what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. And yeah, have an awesome day. Steem, blockchain, DTube, test chain. Yeah, today it is July the 1st, 2019. Have a great day, everyone.